I'm here to ask, how can we get to know ourselves better? And I guess in the tracking framework, who here has tracked physical activity to get in shape? I think like everybody, right? And so 2 years ago, I was kind of like this, and I made a bet with myself that I would exercise 5 times a week, at least 30 times a day, or else I'll give $50 to the Tea Party. And it was perfect, because if it was the Ku Klux Klan, it would be blood money, and I would never do it. And if it was my friend, I wouldn't care because he would buy me some beer. And so, this, after tracking everything I was doing, fitness, I got some pretty nice rewards. I went from 42 minutes for a 5-mile run to breaking 30, actually. Well, almost breaking 30, and so it was a really great feeling. I just felt like I was getting better and better, and like many of us, well, we like that gamifying and that proving effect, especially when we're getting those nice returns early on. And I asked myself, what else can I do this with? So I asked, why not intelligence, right? So I went to Luminosity and I started tracking my arithmetic. This is one game that I would play for about 5 months, and here I would try to answer as many arithmetic problems as I can before the time ran out. And what I noticed was, in the beginning, you had improvements. I think part of it was like learning how to play the game. Also, there was a dual end back test because that's what they would do. But then all of a sudden, there's a 20% return right here, and I had no idea where this came from. Except I had a hint that I was traveling a little bit from there. And then I noticed, wait a minute, I tested this hypothesis, that I'm actually better at arithmetic in California than New York. So I moved to California. That makes no sense. Okay, that really makes no sense. And kind of why I'm here to tell you is if you look for something in your tracking behavior, you will find it. And I think that's really, really bad, because I think the entire point of tracking is to find certainty in something you can't find from anywhere else, something you can't find online. And so I think what we really need to do is just start learning from what we're doing and start with something very, very simple. So never mind intelligence. I don't even know my own posture. And so, how can we do this? I think it's time that we do wearable, seamless, fashionable technology, where that comes with us. Instead of going out and doing these specific experiments when we're looking for a particular result, I think we need to bring the technology with us and make it so seamless that we forget about it. So I went to my friend Jason, and I said, do you think we can do this? And he said, yeah, let's design that shirt. So we made sensors consisting of accelerometers that are button-sized and talk to our phone in real time. And we put 10 of them in your beautiful black shirt, as all athletic wear should be, right? And then I went around with this for 13 days, and what I was able to tell was actually the lumbar region, the thoracic region, the shoulders, and the pelvic region, and a bit on the neck. What's going on with these 10 sensors? And so I built a model. I trained myself to actually be able to tell the difference between when I'm in good posture, here you can see, and here where my pelvis and my lumbar region are hunched over, and my shoulders are way out in front, and I can do this whether I'm sitting, standing, walking, running. And it was about 99% accurate to be able to tell the difference between these types of positions. And so at that point, I said, we really need to see what's going on. Let's just wear this shirt, and that's what I did. And I actually didn't want any feedback. I just wanted to see what's going on with my posture over a long period of time. No, buzzer or something that's a reminder. And so here I actually built a very simple posture score where 1 would be great posture, and otherwise it would be poor posture, and also be able to tell whether my posture is symmetric or asymmetric over the course of a day. So here you can see much better posture and much worse posture over the course of an average day in December. In the beginning, you can see that at 9 a.m., I wake up and my posture starts to dip towards noon, and towards around 7 p.m., it gets better. And my hypothesis is wondering, well, how much that has to do with dinner. But as you can see, it goes down again towards the evening. And this was typical of what you see in December. And so this is actually a lowest regression based on these minute-by-minute posture scores. And then, so let's see. So then here we see in January that in the mornings, around noon, that my posture improved from about 0.4 to now 0.65 over the course of those hours. But at the end of the day, it still went down. And so one of the things is what actually contributed to this. So you can see that shoulders, lumbar region, and pelvis were actually improved between December and January just by wearing the shirt. The other thing you can see is that my left side actually improved, but my right side, not so much. And that means at the beginning I had some asymmetry, and I wasn't really sure why not, or you'll see in a second. So what you can see here is that the asymmetry actually decreased in the evening, and I think the basic improvement in posture was done with the lumbar region and the pelvis during the course of the day, and that makes sense if you think about the fact that I was motivated when I woke up and said I'm going to have a good posture, and I thought about my lower back. And so I also looked at some other things, and sleep was one of them. And if you looked back at that curve, both the days in January and days in December, I got tired and my posture decreased towards the end of the day. And so what I noticed is that my ZQ of the night before was associated with my posture score. It was a correlation. It wasn't completely scientifically significant, but it was pretty close. And you can see that, that made sense. My muscles got more fatigued towards the end of the day, and as a result, I started to slouch more, speaking. So my question is, this is just about my body, and I kind of want to know, what do you want to know about yourself? Just a very simple thing. Because the next thing we should do is get you to ask that and find out how we can get you there. Thank you.
So Simon, as you know, I've had back problems, so I'm curious, how do you actually decide, how do you judge with your system what is good posture?
So at this point, I went through a number of textbooks and met with some physical therapists and chiropractors and got a basic, a philosophy of saying, look, here's good posture. My shoulders are in natural alignment. There's a slight curvature in my lower back. My pelvis is tucked. My core is pretty active, and my neck is in line using the plumb line with my body. And then so when I trained my data set, what I would do is I would actually stand there for some time and be able to tell the difference between when I'm deviating from that and when I'm actually in line with it.
So you basically calibrated the system by posing in the right.
Yeah, so this was fine-tuned for me, and I think that's a major point. Yes.
I'd love to see an intervention study after you do like 6 months of yoga.
I've been thinking about that. Like what happens with your posture over long periods of time and how you improve it, especially your core. And I think those are the types of questions I'd love to continue on.
I think you might also find a correlation with your VO2 max. How much oxygen you can actually pump out of your lungs if you're not compressing them.
Well, so yes. So what do you expect in that situation?
A better posture, you'll have a higher VO2 max. Through your exercise. You'll be able to run longer. You'll be able to.
Okay.
You know what I want to ask you about? I think it's interesting that the focus of your experiment was on learning, not on the immediate feedback loop. And you called that out in your talk. You said, I didn't want a buzzer or something like that. I wanted to kind of expose myself to the data and learn. Talk more about that, because that's sort of it's a little bit contrary to the popular drift right now.
Right, and so I think right now we kind of stand in this moment where we're all looking for marginal ways to improve our lives, and so we look for like those little stickers, those little notifications that wake us up. And I think that what we will find in the long run is that the most interesting things we'll learn about ourselves are things that we tracked over long periods of time, and we didn't go out to find those immediate notifications. And I personally think that's one of the most interesting things about this area.
So this is,
yeah.
I imagine, from your approach, it's something that you could do for a period of time, incorporate the learning into your body, and then abandon the system, for instance. Like, you're not dependent on new forms of sort of sensory feedback to program yourself, but rather you're sort of filtering it through a learning process.
I think that sensory biofeedback helps nevertheless. So if you're looking at it while you're doing it, you'll certainly improve, but I think that you shouldn't just stop there. Like, one of the motivations I had in this case is saying, look, posture braces are putting you in that position. It's like the worst form of immediate notification. And in that sense, you're actually worsening your muscle memory and actually making your problems worse. So here's like, this is the exact opposite approach. Just like fundamentally, do you even know the position you are in at any given time of the day? And I'm saying no one knows. That's my favorite part. So, yes.
Tell me more about the shirt. Where can I get one?
I'll contact Target tomorrow. No. Yeah, so we've been playing around to actually see when we can actually produce such a thing. And what we've noticed is like there's a sweet spot with wearable tech. And I think, like, I didn't show in there, but there is a battery that's associated with it, and it's like about half the size of the phone. And I think that even myself, that even wearing it for on and off for about a month, I think that not everyone would be willing to do that. So to really make it passive, I think we have to be a little patient. But anyway, we can talk.
Yes?
Yeah. Do you expect that the new ideas that the new discoveries that you'll make will come from yourself, looking at the data, or from someone else who's approaching the data with a new mind?
I think the new mind is a great source. So having said that, I'm also, so I've done a little bit of data analysis in my background, and I think looking at how aggregating that data, getting multiple people to look at the same data would be the best way to learn that. And I think when you just look at one person in general, everyone's going to typically agree on the same results, unless you just do different methodologies on how to go about understanding it.
The posture is really fun, and I think it made me think a lot about emotion and how either the posture affects your emotion or your emotion affects your posture, if we could figure that out. And then a little bit tougher, how it affects relationships with other people.
So both of those things were things I've thought about. I did track mood using SMS. What I found is when you have a bazillion data points for posture and one data point for mood, that's a 1 through 10 score, it's very difficult to derive correlations. Having said that, we all know that the way we move communicates a lot between people and about who we are. And so I'm very interested in exploring that, to come up with a quantified framework that would make me happy and I think others happy. It's probably a difficult thing to get to.
Great, we have time for one more if somebody wants to. Yes, in the back.
Simon, great work. So are they actually like buttons you can pop them off and wash the shirt, or did you just?
So no, hygiene's important. Hygiene's important. So actually the way we attached it was actually using Velcro. So I could probably put this on any shirt. I just like this one because at least there was some consistency there, and I knew how it fit my body.
Fantastic.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.